Hello, everyone. This is Gigal from France, and it's a very long time I did not do any YouTube live in English, so excuse me for my French accent. But I'm very happy today we have a guest. It's the second time he's coming to my channel. Hello, Steven.
Hello, thank you for having me back on your show. I am so honored.
Oh, we are honored. So, first thing, I will say hello to the people who are in the chat. We have mainly French people because they like what you do from the first show, but we hope that American and English speaking ones will come at later. So, hello Flora, hello Gaspare. Gaspare, buonasera carissima. Dice lui, carissima maestra. We have an Italian member of my team who is the same, at the same, he thinks the same than us. And it's very interesting because he know one of the people who did the scans. So interesting. Hello, Corinne. Hello, Astrea. Thank you to be there. Hello, Marie-Paul. Hello, Joe. Thank you. Hello, Teranisu. Hello, Flora. Hello, Luce. Hello, Brigitte. Hello, Sylphide. Hello, Brigitte. Hello, Jean-Baptiste. They all said hello to you, Steven, also.
Oh, well, thank you. And I say hello to everyone.
Yeah. Hello, Liz. Hello, Nuage Dansant. Hello, Patricia. So, hello to everyone, as you say. And first of all, we have to say that you are an author and you wrote 2 books for the moment. So, can you tell us about your profile?
Well, I've written a couple of books about the Great Pyramid. I led a tour to Egypt. I produced some documentaries about the Great Pyramid and that type of thing. So,
and you are an engineer?
Well, yeah, I guess I would call myself a researcher, but I have a very technical background in electronics and fluid dynamics and other areas. So I have a technical background.
Yeah, this is very important because you remember the first time you contacted me, it was a long years ago. I don't remember when. When it was, you remember?
Oh, it might have been quite a while. The exact time I don't know, but it was quite a few years ago, and we're still both at it. So that's good.
It was maybe 20 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, I hate to date ourselves, but it was probably 20 years ago.
Yeah,
like 2002 or something like that. So it was a long time. We've known each other a long time.
Yes.
Worked together. Some of our research interfaces, it overlaps.
Exactly.
So it's good.
Yeah, at the time, and I'm still on this, I was working about hydraulic systems in Fayoum, and I am very, very passionate about hydraulic systems of the ancient Egyptians, of course, but not only ancient Egyptian, also other countries very near Egypt. And I discovered so many things in Fayoum about the hydraulic systems. So I knew that some of the pyramids are also hydraulic systems or have hydraulic systems inside. So when you published your first book, I was very interested because it was confirming everything I was watching in Fayoum. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Thank you for the kind words. But yes, there's a profound link between at least the Great Pyramid and water. So I think, and you think the ancient people were geniuses and were able to make some very substantial infrastructure related to water.
Yes, because they were in very great respect of the four elements, and they were able to do very natural things without with very precise mathematics and geometry, etc. So it is very amazing the work we discover in Egypt about that. And I can say that the hydraulic systems, for example, in Fayoum, they are still in use.
Mhm.
And it's amazing, but because they are dating back 7,000 years ago, before Christ. So
Mhm. Mhm.
it's very amazing. And also, the King of France, Louis XIV, wanted to do the same thing in France. So he sent people to Fayoum and to Giza to copy the hydraulic systems that the ancient Egyptian did. It's very, we have a lot of documents about that. Yeah.
Yes, we have a lot to learn from the ancient people. They were not primitive at all, and
Yes.
they were practical and very smart.
Yeah, exactly. So, also something I wanted to say before all is that because we have the same point of view about the so-called discovery, recent discovery under Khafre pyramid. We have the same point of view, you and me. But before speaking about that and adding layers of truth about that, I wanted to say just that all my 25 and more years in Egypt, because I was in Egypt more than 25 years in Egypt, coming back to my country only 2 months a year. So it's very long stay. And I went everywhere in Egypt to look after all what is still is discovered. And mainly the thing that the tourists can't go because it was in
Mhm. Mhm.
excavations and so on. So during all that time, I met my expertise is about the ancient texts because I translated a lot of text from hieroglyphics to other languages, and I made university in that thing. It is to say the translation of text in ancient text. I am speaking much better Egyptian, ancient Egyptian, or modern Egyptian than English today.
Well, that's wonderful. Yes, you are doing great work. You're down there with boots on the ground. You're at Egypt, and you have a lot of credibility in that way.
So I wanted to highlight the fact that I wrote a lot of things about the underground of Giza. And for me, Giza is not only the three pyramids and the Sphinx, but the 80 kilometers long of the plateau, the real plateau,
Mhm.
which is 80 kilometers long from Giza to Fayoum. And I discovered a lot of subterranean things. And I will um, I will make films and videos more because I have a lot of documents. But I want to say that I am sure from the start that there are big things under Giza, but not that kind of things that the so-called scans, are showing. This is completely crazy because first of all, the radars today, even and more than that, the SAR SAR. How you say that in English?
Yes, just exactly. SAR scans.
Okay, so the synthetic aperture radar (SAR) um, use uses radio waves, of course, to create detailed images of the Earth's surface, even through clouds, etc. But the ability to penetrate the ground is very limited and depends on several factors, as you know. You will speak about that after. And it can't see very deeply below the surface. Are you okay with that?
Yes, that's actually true. Anyone can look this stuff up. They don't have to be an expert in LiDAR or these scans. They can look up information about it, and those scans can only go. I'm from America. They can only go feet
Yeah, no problem, no
or
problem.
a few meters
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
That's not the application for SAR
of course, of course.
scans. They're
The
for other things.
Yeah, exactly. And the better band to the L band of this kind of radar, it is only 1-2 gigahertz, and he potentially can see only 2-3 meters in very dry conditions in the deserts, etc. But no more than 3 meters deep.
That's
And
right.
and then of course the most, if you want to know what is under the pyramids, you have to use the JPR radar, which
Hmm.
is the ground penetrating radar.
Right.
But also this one, he can go very deep. It seems that the best ones today can go no more than 30 meters deep with the best how you say that, the best programs. they,
Hmm. Hmm.
they can't go more than 30 meters deep.
Right.
Oh,
Right. That's
and
about the depth of the subterranean chamber,
yeah,
about
yeah,
below the Great Pyramid. That's
yeah,
all.
yeah.
At the very
At the
best.
best, at the very best, because when we see what is in this report, Italian reports, um, my God, well, I did that because I did a lot of I did a lot because you know, also to make these discharge chambers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these it's ridiculous, just under Khafre pyramid, because Khafre pyramid is built on a rock. You know,
Yeah.
it is not sand.
Yeah. It's
So
solid bedrock.
yeah, bedrock. And then you see this uh, the, you have 3 times the Burj Khalifa tower under.
Yes.
They are going there. It's impossible with the SAR radar. So, what do you think? Why they did that? Why do you think about that?
Well, on a technical level, you are correct. At the very, very best, they can only go maybe 100 meters,
Mm.
let's
Yeah,
say. But what they do is they have proprietary software, in other
yeah,
words, software that they own,
yeah,
that we don't know what it's all about. They
yeah.
use that software to manipulate the data from the scan
Mm.
to come up with these blurry pictures that have like blue and
Yeah,
yellow. They're all blurry. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. They come up with these pictures from data that they've collected from only 100 meters at best. But they don't have any data below 100 meters to manipulate with proprietary software. So there's a big opportunity to have errors in their interpretation of the data. So that's what I think, that it is prone to errors. It's not a very good way to conduct research. What's important is the research methods to come up with these scans, and that's what's flawed, and it makes the scans flawed. So yeah, it's a falsehood. It can't work.
Yeah, and I can add something very amazing, is that in 1966 or 67, during 2 years, 1000, how you say in English, 1965.
1965. Mm-hmm.
66, there was the exploration of the American Nobel Prize in physics, Luis Alvarez, who came to Khafre pyramids to make himself scans and everything. And you will see what happened. It's very interesting to know the story before that stuff. And well, he's very known because he worked about a lot of stuff in America. I will not explain all what he discovered, because he did a lot of research. You can see Luis Alvarez Nobel Prize of Physics. And when I was searching the archives of the Department of Physics of the Egyptian University, I discovered that the Alvarez expedition was the first international research project of this department. And we read that, my team and me, we read that this project, under the direction of Professor Alvarez and the Egyptian Professor Al-Badawis, aims to, I am quoting, to search for the existence of unknown chambers inside the pyramid through the use of photographic techniques of cosmic rays.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was the first expedition, but he did more. And at this point, we can already be very surprised when you will see the results. So he came with a team of people. So there was Dr. Loren Yazzolino, an assistant to Alvarez, who will make the round trip between Berkeley and Cairo for the analysis of the data, of the radiation data. You had Fred Kreis, the radiation specialist from the Berkeley lab. You had Amr Goned, the Egyptian side,
Mm-hmm.
Who obtained his doctorate in 1969 in computer science. And he became the great specialist of encryption algorithms, artificial intelligence, image compression methods with fractal compression, and emotional intelligence interfaces in robotics. So this was in 1966, 67, you imagine.
Wow.
And, also one guy, Jim Burkhardt, who is a project manager and specialist of, I quote, pattern recognition system and optical character recognition system. So all that team of very experts came to Khafre, okay, And there was no archaeologist at all, not archaeologist at all in the tomb. And the you had also the Stanford Research Institute in California in 1974. After that, with the professor Nael Barakat from Egyptian origin, that they continue the work of Alvarez. And I will explain that this expedition, what they discovered, it's very interesting. They discovered, in fact, that it is not possible to scan under the Khafre pyramid.
Oh, how funny. Yeah.
Really, really.
Yes.
So, the Professor Alvarez, he installs in the so-called Belzoni chamber, the chamber of Khafre pyramid.
Yes.
Inside the pyramid of Khafre. I don't know if you said Khafre, Khafre.
Oh, it's said a lot of ways. Khafre is another way to say it, but the second pyramid.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, what you're saying.
In fact, in Egyptian, I prefer to say that in ancient Egyptian is Khafre.
Oh, really?
It's Ra
Beautiful.
and Khafre. Yeah, it is Khafre pyramid. But the French, when they came with Napoleon, they mixed the thing and they said it with the French manner, and they said Khafre. But and then you said
Khafre.
Khafre, you know?
Yeah, over in the USA, yeah. So,
yeah,
but it's all the same.
Yeah, but the true name is Khafre. So I like to say it in ancient Egyptian. So inside the pyramid of Khafre, his cosmic ray detectors, because it is all the Muon technology, you know. So he installed his devices with a powerful voltage, because he said 10,000 volts. It's amazing for the time, you know. And they transport all the cable inside the Khafre pyramid, and the very big computers, the very huge IBM computers that was existing in that day. They were very huge. So I put a photo of that because this is the computer they put inside Belzoni pyramid.
Yes.
It's amazing. And there is a photo of Professor Alvarez. It is a man on the left with all his team in front of Khafre pyramid. And okay, so I don't know if you know this story.
No, tell me. There's a lot of different scans of the pyramids, but tell me what you're saying.
So, because this man is Nobel Prize, and he did a lot of analysis, geological analysis everywhere in the world to prove, you know, the story of the dinosaurs and all that stuff. So he was very known about that. And so I am reading because it's hard for me to say that.
Oh, you're doing great.
Thank you. I try to work my English, and so he was searching for other chambers under Khafre pyramid, and the first data analysis, it was in 1967. The results of the expedition to Egypt were delayed. It must be said that the 6-day war, you know, it was a war in Egypt, blocked a lot of things. And finally, at the end of 1968, enough data was collected to be analyzed at Berkeley and the Egyptian University of Ain el-Shams. And just before the recordings left to be analyzed in the USA, Professor Alvarez assistant, the Dr. Yazzolino, says, I quote him, we have analyzed 2 recordings by the computer and our equipment is working very well. Okay? And at this point, we can already be surprised to see that in an exploration of this importance, there is no mention of a collaboration with archaeologists or Egyptologists, Okay, so Dr. Yazzolino went to Berkeley and came back to Cairo. And all the team I told you were with him. And after which Alvarez collected the hundreds of records. We are talking about at least 2 million of data. And he left without commenting on his discoveries, simply claiming to have found nothing. But a bombshell broke out on the July 26, 1969, quickly relayed by many authors and journalists, some of whom were rather serious, like the Toronto Globe and Mail of July 13, the Arizona Daily Star, and the books of Ostrander, Schroeder, Leal Watson, Peter Tompkins, Maurice Chatelain, Schulon Petit, Warren Smith, Ian Warden, etc. This bomb is an article in the Times Saturday Review signed by a certain John Tunstall from London. And I say certain because there is every reason to believe that it is a pseudonym, surname, from someone who does not lack of humor or who wanted to make allusions understandable only by the people concerned, because John Tunstall is a famous name of Billy the Kid's mentor.
Oh, yes.
The latter avenged his death by perpetrating a massacre, if you remember. So, in this article, John Tunstall says he made the trip to Cairo as a correspondent for his newspaper to see the results. He said he saw the IBM 1130 surrounded by hundreds of magnetic records boxes. And above all, he talks about incredible anomalies. In fact, the recordings differed completely from one day to the next, and this for a detector posted in the same place. Tunstall explains that every time Dr. Amr Gonaid, the Egyptian in charge of the project, started the recordings in the computer, different indications appeared on each recording, where precise benchmarks should have appeared identical every time they were absent. And he quotes Dr. Gonaid, the results defy all the known laws of physics. It is scientifically impossible, or there is some force that defies the laws of science at work in the pyramid. There is a force present in the pyramid that defies all the law of science. So the information greatly embarrasses the Nobel Prize team, who repeats that nothing has been found in the pyramid after the millions they spent to make this expedition, for sending the computers, etc., etc. It's only 12 years later that the professor will deign to mention the subject in a letter addressed in 1980 to a journalist taking his side. What he says then is not without interest, but before sharing it with you, I would like to mention two authors who relate the famous information of Tunstall. You have, Maurice Chatelain, famous head of all NASA communication system, wrote in 1979,
Mhm.
and Peter Tompkins, correspondent of the New York Herald Tribune, then of NBC and CBS, also relate the information. Looking at this biography, we discovered that he is a former, OSS, this service that turned into the agency, the three-letter agency.
Mhm.
And this is a lot of stories about that. And what happened really in the pyramid of Khafre, of Khafre, it was very studied by Maurice Chatelain and Peter Tompkins, and it was suggested by them that by conducting a stubborn and in-depth investigation on the site, uh, an investigation very difficult to do because it's number of years that have passed, and the secrecy was very big. Since then, we discovered that in April 1968, in the middle of the period of analysis of cosmic rays, an important anomaly stirred the researchers. On site, the Cairo University team judged that the anomaly was important enough to send a supercoded cable to Professor Alvarez, urging him to cross the seas in order to reach them urgently. This cable was so coded that the professor confessed much later to a friendly journalist, I quote, that he had not even understood what we were trying to tell him until he arrived in Cairo to gauge the situation. End of quote. So, what was in this super coded telegram? What is the real issue of all this? Uh, we learn much later what the anomaly consisted of. In fact, the results of analysis that had just been obtained attested to the existence of a chamber inside Khafre. However, according to the calculations, this room was not possible because if the room itself was existing, the pyramid should have collapsed on it. So the other thing they discovered, it is that either all the calculations were wrong, that is not possible because they were very experts, and it was for the Professor Alvarez a source of energy coming out from under the pyramid, a very strange energy that was doing that all the scans were completely erased.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that is very interesting. I wanted to tell you because when I studied the text of Champollion, the French discoverer of the translation of the hieroglyphics, I studied his correspondence, his letters to his brother. And his brother was in France. He was writing to him from Egypt. And when he discovered the writings on the temple of Idfu, he translated a piece of this of the wall to his brother, and he wrote that it is saying that a very huge energy is under the Khafre pyramid, but he can't say that in his books officially because he will not understand, the public will not understand and will be afraid. That's all.
Well, that's the way science works. That's for sure. Sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah, I know there's a huge history of scans of the pyramids on Giza. They've been doing scans since the 70s and even later, and different scans have different results. Some of the results contradict each other.
Exactly.
So it's some scans work better than others. In recent times, the muon scans from the Scan Pyramid Project seem pretty good because they detected an anomaly near the original entrance of the Great Pyramid, and then further study and excavation, they drilled a hole, and then there's a camera to take pictures of that vaulted. It has a little vaulted chamber. And so that's good. So they had the scan, but then they had to confirm it. So
but it's very small because the people sometimes they imagine it's very huge chamber. No, it's very small like that.
Yeah, it's like an attic, if you will, in the top of a house. Very small, but it proved in a way that the muon scan was quite accurate. So so that's good. But I think other scans are not accurate, and the SAR scans and the whole process is not accurate at all.
Of course, it can be. It's surface. It's for the surface. I see that it was scans in Giza in 1970, in 1973, 74, 76, 78 by the Dr. Dolphin. Dr. Dolphin made no less than 40 trips to Egypt to scan Giza Plateau. And
a lot of scans.
And in 1970 the Stanford University took aerial photos, took thermal images, and made measurements of the electrical resistance and fluctuation of the magnetic field around the Sphinx. And then the Professor Alvarez said to Dr. Dolphin to build a ground penetrating radar, a GPR, to explore the nearby areas of Khafre in 1974. And they thought that limestone could easily be penetrated by the GPR, but Dr. Dolphin quickly realized that no, the limestone is so mixed with clay, salt, and moisture that the GPR only sees at the depth of 2 feet. In that You imagine? So in 76 and 78, there were another scan with the Egyptian University and the Stanford Research Institute, and the researchers decided to use high-frequency seismic waves. So when the Italian guy said that he was the first, no, they used from a long time high-frequency seismic waves and remote electronic detection from a long time. From 76 and remote and electronic sensing, and lots. And then you have what you said, the exploration project, the Sphinx exploration project in 78, then in 82. Also, countless scans were done by the best machines, and
yeah, a lot of different technologies. Some were
Exactly.
micro-gravitational, check the, a little bit of difference in gravity, which they tried to interpret that to be differences in like voids inside pyramids or below. So there's a lot of technologies and everything with varying results. But these new scans, they also use micro vibrations, and they try to analyze these micro vibrations
Yeah.
and come up with ancient cities underground. But
Yeah.
you've been to Giza thousands of times. I've been there several times, and there's buses and trucks
Yeah.
and everything else all the time.
Yeah.
When one of the big tour buses comes up and stops, you can feel the ground shake, and you can walk right to the city and roads, and there's the traffic in Cairo area is pretty heavy. Let me put it that way. Lots
Yeah.
of traffic. So
Yeah.
all of these human-made vibrations, these micro vibrations, would
Exactly.
introduce a lot of distortion
Mm.
into the interpretation of these vibrations. So the whole process that they used for these SAR scans, the whole process has a lot of really poorly conceived methods. And they also use AI, artificial intelligence, to make up stuff. And
From
it is,
that,
yeah,
they show that.
yeah. That that blue one, that other one, it looks like a Rorschach ink
Yeah.
blot
And
test.
maybe it is rocks,
Yeah, and
organic rocks.
it turns out to be anything you want it to be. So it's not valid scientific method. It's
No.
not the use of the SAR technology in a proper way, if you will.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it is proprietary or secret, so
Mm.
that's not good. And they do a lot of things that are not proper. They
Ex-
said, well, we scanned on the Giza plateau and it detected the Osiris shaft. That's a shaft right on the Giza plateau. That's only 150 feet. And then they say that proves that we can scan 2,000 feet or however many meters. So it's very disingenuous. Not,
No, it's completely mixed, and whatever they said, it's
yeah,
so wrong, because the Osiris shaft was not from Osiris. It is very documented, and it was not
yeah,
by the
yeah.
scans that they discovered it, and it was not. Oh my God!
But you can't say, well, I can see 100 feet down. That validates that I can see 2,000 feet down
Yeah,
using
exactly.
this technology that can't see. It can't. It's bad, very bad science.
Exactly. And you have, anyway, the best experts on radars that are convinced that it's a total strange thing what they did. Because, for example, the professor Lawrence Conyers, who is a radar expert at the University of Denver, called these claims gross exaggerations, stating that the technology used, radar pulses emitted by a satellite, similar to sonar used to map the oceans, could not penetrate that deep into the Earth. And there are many other experts too that are confirming that anyway. Mm.
Yeah, it's horrible. The reality is there is no huge city underneath the pyramids. There's no big columns with springs going around them and all that other stuff they made up. That they don't exist.
And they
Uh,
said also that inside this column there are stairs.
yeah, yeah. How they come up with that? So that's it's
Just,
sad. It's very sad. But
just
it
to tell you that.
talks of a nut. there's another important issue. A lot of alternative researchers, I think you're an alternative researcher. I
Yeah,
am,
yeah,
an alternative researcher, but a lot, and we don't like those scans, but so many other alternative researchers
yeah. They are becoming
believe them
crazy.
instantly.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, that's it. That's got
they're
to be
becoming
true,
crazy.
and,
Yeah,
and that's very sad, and
yeah,
it
yeah,
indicates that many alternative researchers don't know anything about how to conduct research.
yeah. Not only that, because you have so-called experts like these two men who are also saying things that are completely stupid,
Yeah.
really, really. And other experts are saying, but what is that? So, for that reason, what do you think that some people are telling now that all that is a kind of psyop?
It is. It seems like it's some sort of a psyops, some experiment by who knows who to spread disinformation. I don't know if they're trying to keep us from knowing something else or if they are demonstrating just how incompetent many alternative researchers are. And I'm risking my reputation, and
Yeah,
you are risking your reputation by evaluating these scans and saying they are invalid. But
there are.
all of these other researchers are doing the same thing. And pretty soon they're going to, what they say, eat crow. I don't know if that's a French expression. They're going to have mud on their face, and it will, when it becomes obvious to everyone these scans are invalid, those researchers will be proved to be incompetent, and I'm waiting for that day, and I bet it will be sooner than later.
Yeah, and you know what the Egyptians are saying, because I know, of course, all the Egyptian in the ministry, but not only all the archaeologists and all the, for them it is a psyop because the situation, the geopolitical situation in Egypt today is very hot because what is happening beside the country, in other country, very beside Egypt, to not mention them. And they said that some people are trying to do some psy-up to push the people to hate the Egyptian politics and the Egyptian decision to protect some people nearby, etc., etc. And they are trying to say to the people, you see, the Egyptian of today are in the secret. They don't want you to know the truth, etc. But what I am watching from more than 25 years is that, in fact, the people who made all the secrets were the people before the people in charge in Egypt now, and that people were not telling the truth about, for example, the king chambers, because they discover a lot of things in the king chambers, etc., etc. But it was because because the agencies, the foreign agencies, don't wanted to for the people, for the public, to know the true datations of the things, etc., etc., because it was a religion thing and big stuff, very complicated to change anything that is written in the sacred books, etc., etc., or interpreted from
Mhm.
a lot of time wrongly, So they did not want to change that, but also because it was their interest, political interest, and there is always something about the money and the political interest. But now it's very different. But the problem is that now the situation in the region is so hot that it is not possible to make these revelations now.
Okay. Yeah. I do think it's a type of psyops or something,
Yeah,
but that's interesting to say that it is maybe being used, this disinformation, to destabilize
exactly.
the authorities in Egypt, and that's sad if that is what it was designed to do. What was
Yeah,
odd is right after these revelations came out about the scans, there was a whole bunch of AI videos of people going down in passages, and they have flashlights and they see big temples underground, and so it's really sad. I
yeah,
know in America, oh, you would be surprised. People are dumb. They don't know, and they'll believe anything. And
I
they
think
like
yeah, I think everywhere in the world now the people are dumb, but it
the,
was not the case in the past. Yeah,
but they all are the ancient aliens and all of that, and it's horrible,
yeah,
that type of stuff. So there's so much disinformation associated with the ancient monuments and structures in Egypt, but
yeah. Because the
you
people
did,
don't read, don't study the serious things
yeah.
first. Yeah, because
People don't read books anymore, and then they believe all that stuff, and it's sad, but I know
yes,
I know
because
Egypt is a great land.
yeah,
Egypt is there's no place like Egypt,
yeah,
and the people are friendly, and it is safe. You say
yeah,
it's like a hot, but it is the safest place you can ever go.
yeah,
We were walking around late at night, and
yeah,
when we were there, and we were where the tourists didn't normally go. All the signs were in Arabic. You know what I'm trying to
yeah,
say? And
yeah.
all the voices you hear were in Arabic, and it's safe.
And I am
So,
going everywhere in Egypt alone. I am a
mhm.
blonde lady alone, and I never had a problem.
Yeah.
Always big respect everywhere. And of course, I speak Arabic, so that helps. But
Mhm.
I respect the tradition there.
Oh,
It
yes.
means I
Mhm.
am not going in, in
Disrespect. You don't disrespect anything. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And they are very fantastic people.
They
Uh,
are very helpful,
yeah,
very fun, and all of them, they're all can speak every language. It seems like they all speak English. They can all speak French. German.
yeah,
So and in America, we can only speak one language. We're not smart that way. So but even though you say it's kind of tension over there in politics, but
yeah.
with the people and life, it is a wonderful place.
Yes, yes. Not in the interior of the country, but
Hmm.
problems with the outside of the country.
and
And
and the people are friendly and they are helpful, and it's, if I can say this, in America things are very expensive. In Egypt they're not very expensive. You can have a wonderful meal for not very
yeah,
much money.
yeah.
a,
But
re- a hotel room, not very much
yeah,
money, and
but
it's
the houses are very expensive for the Egyptian because
yeah, yeah, the
only
houses. But I mean, for a
to
tourist, it's
eat
cheaper
to
to
eat.
travel
Yeah, yeah.
travel to Egypt than to Paris,
Okay,
let's say.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And
what
I
I'm
was
saying, it's a very affordable
yeah,
trip for tourists to go to
yeah,
Egypt.
yeah. Only the plane fare is expensive
That is
for you.
expensive. But they have a beautiful airport, and the
Yeah.
airport at Aswan is also beautiful.
In
Not just
Cairo,
Cairo. The
in
streets
Cairo,
are nice, excellent streets all over the place. So
in Cairo, there is 3 airports now. Only
yes,
in Cairo, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And you
So it's
have,
huge,
yeah,
and
it's modern, very modern. By the way, I wanted to announce that the GEM, the Great Egyptian Museum, will be open, totally open to the public for the first time the 13th of July. The 10th,
wow.
sorry, the 10th of July,
Mhm.
and it will be a kind of official opening
Mhm.
the the 3 or and the 2 of July, but for the public it will be open the 10th of July, because for the moment it was only open the hall with the big statues, some little collections, and the restaurants and the tourist things, and the outside, and etc., the gardens and all that stuff. But the 10 big chambers with all the Tutankhamun objects, and the treasure of the pharaoh's objects and all that stuff will be open the 10th of July for the public. So it will be totally open the 10th of July this
Oh
year.
wow, that will be one of the greatest museums in the world.
Yeah.
So maybe someday I can go now that it's open and visit that museum.
Yeah. I hope to be able to invite you
Oh, thank you.
with your
Oh, I
family.
would love that. So that
Yeah.
would be great. Maybe someday
Yeah.
we'll work something out.
Yeah. And we will see all the following stuff about this so-called discovery. Do you have something to add to all that?
I do. The main thing that I want to tell the viewers is those scans are flawed. The research methods they used to get from the data all the way up to those computer generated images. There's so many areas that are in error, and there is some real problems with that.
Mm.
So what that means is I don't think that there are any ancient cities under the pyramids. There are no big columns. There's no staircases like shown in those images. All of that is wrong. And if people want to seek truth,
Yeah.
they have to get away from all of that. So that's all I suggest that people do. So
Okay. I differ only on one thing with you. It's about the ancient city. City. It means only layers of chambers, small chambers, layers of small chambers, because we have data in France, but it's not under Khafre. It's under Khufu and
yes.
under Menkaura, but not under Khafre. Smaller layers of little rooms, and it was in 18, so it's very ancient. We have data about that existing,
Mhm.
but nobody did the research on the terrain, no. And because my name, my pen name, Gigal, which
Mhm.
is not Gigal, huh? Gigal is the name of this ancient city,
Oh, fun. Yes.
but
Well,
it's
yeah.
not a city with big, huge thing like that, and 2 kilometers depth and all that stuff. No,
Right. Yeah. I'm saying the results of the scans
yeah,
are flawed. People
exactly.
want to, people have said, well, some of that stuff, it relates to your research. So why are you against it? And I said, how can something that doesn't exist support my research? So,
and
so
and
that,
the matters.
it's wrong. This
And
scan is
yeah,
totally wrong. We are both putting our reputation on the line, and we know that we are right, and we will be proven right probably in the years to come.
yes, because it's impossible. We said everything in this life about the impossibility of the ECR and the GPR, showing that it's impossible.
Right. So hopefully more people will come to understand. And there's a lot of us, not just you and me,
Yeah,
many
yeah,
people and
yeah,
experts say the scans are flawed.
yeah.
So we'll see how it all turns out. And hopefully the truth will emerge soon about those scans.
We hope so. I am watching only because my tablet is not working. I am searching the if we have some questions. I am searching. Okay, I am searching on my telephone. No, they put only that the truth will come.
I love truth, and it will come.
And entrando nella piramide di Khafre, entrando nella stanza per vedere cosa fa in fondo, mi domando a cosa serve. There is a question for you, and he is asking when you enter the Khafre pyramid, but I don't know if you entered the Khafre pyramid because it was closed a long time.
I did in an earlier visit, yes.
Okay, so when you enter the Khafre pyramid in the Belzoni chamber, with the sarcophagus inside inside the Belzoni chamber, he is asking what was the purpose of this sarcophagi for you?
Well, the focus of my research is actually the Great Pyramid, but
So, what do you think about the sarcophagi in the Great Pyramid?
Well, I think the Great Pyramid was many things, but it was also a machine that had to do with hydraulics. And the sarcophagus in the Great Pyramid was part of a functioning machine that I discussed in my second book about why the Great Pyramid was built.
Yeah,
and it was I think it was part of a float system. Certainly it's not all there for to help control water inside the Great Pyramid. And it's described in detail in my book. So
please, can you show the books one by one?
Oh, sure. The first book describes the assembly process of the Great Pyramid, and it has a lot to do with water.
The technologies of the Great Pyramid.
Yes. Lost technologies of the Great Pyramid. It is in soft cover or ebook format, and so is my other book, my second book. This is why the Great Pyramid was built, the Great Pyramid Prosperity Machine. And there's a lot of illustrations and everything, but it describes how the Great Pyramid was used as related to water and hydraulics. So it gives a functional purpose to the Great Pyramid. So hopefully people can be interested in those and see what I'm all about, and conduct research by reading books.
Yeah, very important. Very important to read a lot. If you are passionate about the Giza Plateau, you have to read a lot.
Yes, and there's so much disinformation these days.
Yes.
With all of these pictures that anyone with a computer can make some kind of a fake picture. It's a tough time to be a researcher.
Yeah, yeah, it's a tough time. But at the same time, because I am speaking about my experience, sometimes I use Grok robot, the robot of X, but the best version of the Grok. And what I understood is that when you ask a question to Grok, in fact, it responding in connection with your knowledge. It is to say that the same question I was doing, it was a different answer for somebody not knowing anything about the Giza plateau there. So he knew, the robot is informing himself about what you do, what you read, what you wrote, and he give you a better answer when you have knowledge. And because I see in X and everywhere, sometimes people saying, "Oh, Grok is answering that," and it is a stupidity, but they don't understand that Grok is responding at your level.
Right. Right.
Because
I know what you're saying. That's
yeah,
true. But then one last thing I need to say specifically to researchers
yeah,
is that you need to understand the subject that you're researching, but you
exactly,
also need to understand how to conduct research. I know a
exactly,
lot of these alternative researchers, I say, is
yeah,
there an invalid way to conduct research?
yeah,
They
and
can't
I
say yes and they can't say no. I ask them,
exactly,
what is a hypothesis? Don't know.
exactly. I
You
was
know, and
very, I
it,
was,
it's
yeah,
incredible.
yes, it's incredible. I was very happy to, because I did 7 years of university,
Hmm.
and I get diplomas, etc. But because I learned something very important, it is discipline in the research. The discipline in the research is very important. How to research, how to make archives, how
Yes.
to, etc., etc. And a lot of alternative researchers, they don't know how to research. They do whatever, and
Yeah, they just believe what they read. That's for sure. But a lot of things are based on logical fallacies,
yeah,
and have a foundation in falsehoods. And people now that can think they're researchers can't discern, or they can't see that an argument or interpretation, they can't tell why it's false. So it's sad. And
yeah.
like yourself, I've been trained to conduct research.
Mm,
So it's I think it's an advantage I have and you have over a lot of these
yeah.
internet educated researchers, that look at just what somebody posts on Facebook and then they think they know what's going on.
And also the copy they did of each other, and they restart the same
Right.
text.
It becomes an echo chamber or circular reasoning, that type of thing. And then after someone after they end up believing a falsehood like these scans, there's hardly anybody that can change their mind. So it's very important to know what you're doing when you're trying to conduct research.
Yeah, exactly. It's very important, and it's a long years research. And
Mhm.
also, many people never went to Egypt and have their opinion about this stuff and that stuff, and they never research or never went to Egypt.
Mhm.
Or they went just 8 days or 15 days holidays, and they think they know
Yes,
everything.
that's
That's
true.
very sad. That's very sad. And we need more than ever the truth in this world. So we
Yes.
we want the truth. We don't want fake things, psyops or whatever.
Yeah. We need people that love truth
Exactly.
more than
And
falsehood. And a
themselves.
lot of people don't.
Exactly. And it's amazing the ego is coming so visible with this story. It's amazing. Some people, I was not supposing they can change their, and they became crazy with that. Yeah.
They do. It's like it's for some reason these scans people have just embraced them, not even knowing how they were created and that type of thing. It's just an odd
Mhm.
psyops that seems to be
Yeah.
quite successful
Yeah.
worldwide. How odd it is.
Yeah. And a very fabricated buzz. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you very much, Stephen, to have come there, and I'm very happy to chat with you, and we will do it again soon. And that's all. My French people are very happy for this interview. I hope a lot of others will come from your country. And yes, so anyway, I will send to you this the video, so
Well,
you
thank
can
you so
watch.
much.
You can.
Thank you for having me on your show. I am so honored to be interviewed by such an excellent researcher. And I hope again we can do this again and maybe work together on a project.
Yes,
And next
yes,
time I'm in Egypt, hopefully our schedules will allow us to meet face to
yes.
face. I would like that.
Have you a project for the moment? No, to travel.
Actually, I'm finishing up on my third book, and so I'm doing that and doing some, research here at our facility, including reading books.
Yeah, of
But
course.
so
Lots.
yeah, there's a lot going on right now, and time is always short,
Yeah,
and research is always pressing. So there's a lot going on. They can visit us at our website at
yeah.
thepump.org and find out what we're up to, our activities, and find out information
Can you
about my
repeat?
direction of research.
Okay, can you repeat your website?
Yeah, thepump.org.
Pump.
It should be on the screen, but here's a
Okay, thank you. That's good. So my people can see. Yeah.
yeah, and then they can get links to my books and watch videos on my YouTube channel about how the Great Pyramid was assembled and that
Yeah.
type of thing.
Very,
So
very.
there's a lot of information
Yeah,
to conduct research on.
of course. So I'm so happy, and I wish you a good day. For me, it is night.
Yeah, it's just early in the day before 12 o'clock noon. So
Yeah,
so it's just
exactly.
right. It worked out. We're across the world, but our schedules
Yeah.
collided, and we had a great interview.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Stephen. And we see again very soon. If God will, we will see each other very soon. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.